So hi all, as a continuation of our previous session, today I am going to show you that how we can do the installation of your local repository, that is nothing but your Git, right guys? So I have told you that if you can see this particular diagram, right, in this one we have to create our local repository, right? So how we can create this local repository, or how we can create the directory, that is Paytm, and inside that we are going to install our Git, right? And then we'll be initializing our Git, guys. So just try to understand this one very carefully, okay, because this is very much important. You remember, right, this diagram which I have explained you in the previous session, okay? So each and every steps I'm going to show you now how we can achieve this one, how we can install the Git on AWS instance. So let me take you through over here so you'll understand better. So what all prerequisites will be there? So to do the Git installation on AWS EC2 instance, so there are some prerequisites will be there, guys. Okay, what all these prerequisites will be there? So AWS EC2 instance will be there. So we need to choose a T2 micro instance we required. Okay, and the operating system which we are going to install on top of this T2 micro is 16.04, guys. Okay, and then we need to generate a .pem file that is mainly used for your Windows operating system. And but since we are creating the Linux operating system, now we are going to install the uh, Git. Now we have to install the Git on top of your Linux operating system. For that we require a PPK format. So that also I'll show you how we can convert this by default. Okay, by default you are going to create a .pem format, and then we have to convert this pem format into PPK format by using Putty generator. Okay guys, and then we'll be updating our operating system, and we'll be installing our Git. Okay, and then will be our initializing the Git repository, guys. So let's directly jump into the topic without wasting the time, guys. So let me tell you one more thing. Whatever the information I'm sharing over here with you, it's as per my real-time experience, production environment experience as a DevOps engineer. Okay, so let's get started, guys. So let me show you. So I'm going to log into the AWS instance first. So this is the console for the AWS instance. So you have to create an account. Okay, that is very simple. It's like normal sign up process. You can do it from your end. So here the sign in to the console is there. Just provide your username. Okay, do a next, provide the password. So now you are logged into the AC2, or you can say AWS management console, guys. So again, so I have already told that. Okay, so I'll also tell you some of the basics which is required to navigate within this AWS management console. That is very much important. Okay, so you are not going to do the AWS administration, but even after that also I'll tell you some of the basics of this AWS management console. So here you are able to see. So AWS is what Amazon Web Services is providing different services. Okay, so these services are nothing but like the compute services will be there, blockchain is a service, analytics is a service, storage is a service, management governance is a service. If you want to create your own database stuff, okay, so database will be as a service. And then network and content delivery will be there, where you can create your own private network. Under that you can deploy your EC2 instance. Okay, so the compute is what? Compute is nothing but where you are going to use, you are going to create a virtual machine, you are going to use the space, and on that space only you have to create your instance, right? That's what we are going to use. So under compute there is a service called EC2. EC2 is nothing but it's a elastic cloud computing. Okay, this is stands for. And elastic cloud computing is nothing but elastic cloud computing service gives you a flexibility are a privilege to create n number of virtual instances according to your requirement. Earlier there was some restrictions for few instances only you can create, but now you can create n number of instances under this EC2 service, right guys? So why we need a virtual machine, correct? So this is about the concept of your cloud, right? Then only we'll be able to use the space, RAM, disk efficiently, right? So if you know about the virtualization which we have worked, okay, and where we need to create the virtual machine, same way here also in AWS you need to create your virtual machine, and on top of that virtual machine you need to install your operating system, and on top of that operating system you need to install your Git, right? That Git repository will be there, that it will be your local. So here just click on this EC2. It will be navigate to the dashboard of this EC2. So the left hand side you are able to see many things, guys. Okay, so just try to understand over here. So in the right hand side you are able to see something, right? So there are around, earlier it was some 16 regions are there. So regions are nothing but these are the physical locations of the data center, guys. So it's not like cloud is nowhere hosted somewhere else. Okay, it is ultimately hosted on a physical machine only. But the thing is, the cloud, you can use it as per your requirement, whatever the requirement you have. Guys, are you able to understand my point or not? So cloud is what? Cloud is nothing but where you are able to, it's a physical location, right? So ultimately, you are able to use your compute, your storage, your network efficiently. That is the purpose we are hosting. Ultimately, means there will be a physical machine. Okay, so these are the locations. So the reasons are nothing but these are the physical location where Amazon hosted their particular data center, guys. So there will be around 20 data centers will be there. Okay, this is called the region in AWS services. Like Ohio is there, Virginia is there, California is there, okay, Cape Town is there, okay, and you can say in India it's Mumbai is there, right? Ireland, London. So you can create in any of this region, guys. Okay, so what we are going to do is I'm going to choose any of this region to create my instance. So choose any of the region. You can take London. So we are going to take the data center as a London. The region will be London. Okay, this is the physical location, means your instance is going to host on London data center, right, guys? So just try to understand. This is why I was continuously telling in the previous session also. So you, the Git is not like something you can install in your laptop, correct? So ultimately, it should be installed on some server, and that server is hosted where? That server or that instance is hosted where? That instance is hosted on London, guys. So now understand, if you want to connect to the London server, so do you think, so this question, okay, should be coming to your mind, right? So you are not going to go to London and connect to that server, right? You're not, that is a foolish thing, right? So for that there is something called remote login client application, same like Putty. If you know, if I have to log into a server which is hosted on London, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this Putty, right? Putty is what? So same way here also, in some of the scenario, it's not mandatory that you are going to get the remote login client application. Okay, so just try to understand this one very carefully. If you want to log into this server, how you are going to log into this server? You need an interface, you need an application, right? A client login application to log into this particular server, right? Correct, guys? So you need to put the IP and you need to use SSH protocol, that is TCP IP protocol, and its SSH protocol is uses port 22 and it's communicate via TCP IP protocol only. Okay, so ultimately, so if you want to connect to that server, you need to go via this SSH protocol to connect to that server. You need to put the IP of that server, okay, and then you'll be connecting to that instance, guys. So try to understand this one very carefully. I'm explaining each and everything in a basics. So here same way, in some scenario what you will be getting, so once your system is, means your Git repository is up and running, okay, so this is one way to log into the Git repository. But in some scenario you will be going to get the GUI also, okay, where you'll be getting like this. You know, I have explained you something called Git public repository. Okay, so this is your public repository. So same way, you'll be going to get a remote login client application interface kind of a thing to log in to this GUI. Guys, are you able to understand my point or not? Okay, just forget about this one as of now. Let me take you through this one, how we can create, how we can, this is the real stuff I'm going to show you, where you can install your Git, okay, on top of your Linux operating system, guys. Okay, so let me show you. So I have selected the region called London, okay, and once you selected the region called London, what you need to do is you need to click on running instances, guys. In this running instances, just click on launch. Now here you are able to see, right? So here in search, which operating system you need to install, as shown, I have told you, right? You need to install Ubuntu 16.04, right? Now here what you need to do is you need to type Ubuntu, okay, enter. So fine, just try to understand. I am telling you, you can choose 18.04 also. That is up to you, whichever the version you want to choose. And let me tell you one more thing. So you are going, once you create an account with the AWS, you are going to get a free tier account. Okay. So try to choose initially some of the free tiers. Okay. Otherwise, it is chargeable. So Amazon is charging for each and everything. So if by mistake, if you leave those instances in start stage, okay, so that you'll be gone. Okay, so they are going to charge you like anything. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to select this 16.04, and the next thing you are able to see over here, so there are different types of instances will be there in AWS, guys. Try to understand this one very carefully. So there will be instances called general purpose instances, there will be instances called your, so there are total 5 types of instances available in your AWS. Okay, that is general purpose instances, compute optimized instances, and then you have GPU instances, you have memory optimized instances. You are able to see in the left side, right? These are the instances. Memory optimized instances will be there, and then the storage optimized instances will be there. So why I am showing you all these things, this is related to your AWS administration questions. Okay, so instances, according to your requirement, you can choose the instances, what type of instance you want to build, for what purpose, for what application you want to build that one. If you are looking for a proper balanced kind of an instance, so you can go with this general purpose instances. So in this one you are able to see called T2 micro and T2 is small, right guys? And then you are able to see T2 medium, T2 large, T2 extra large, T2 too large. It's like your t-shirts, right? You will be getting small, medium, large. So same here also, as much as the size you'll increase, the you are able to see the general purpose. Apart from this T2 micro, everything is chargeable. So just make sure, because in upcoming session, okay, in all the instances I'm not going to use this T2 micro. Okay, for this particular Git only I'm going to use this T2 micro. The reason behind that one is you don't need that much space. Okay, so it will be fine. We can go ahead with this T2 micro. You can use this T2 micro, that is absolutely fine. And the next thing is, whatever the instances, if you want to go with T2 large, extra large and all, so even for the volumes, you can see the storage, right? It is elastic block storage. So even volume, the memory and the CPU, for everything is AWS is going to charge you. So be carefully. So normally peoples will, they make mistakes here. So, okay, when they'll create the instances and they'll leave the instances, don't do ever those things. So otherwise they are going to charge you like anything if you forgot. Okay, so we'll be going with these general purpose instances. So then the next thing is you are able to see, right, configuration detail it's asking. So here I'm going to take on a single instance. Okay, when I'm going to create here, I'm going to enable the auto assign IP. See, so IP you no need to configure, it will be automatically taken care by the AWS. Okay, so they will assign a public IP. So normally, because since we are connected from outside, so this is why we were using public IP. So I'll tell you that concept also. So we have enabled the public IP here. Now you need to do add storage. Okay, storage is what? Your disk space, correct? So here the disk space is nothing but, if you want to learn more about the more about the managed partitions and file system, so I would suggest, I have a very good explanation, production environment explanation. I have explained in my course called Linux course, which is listed. You can go to that course, you can learn from there, and you will be get from scratch to pro level each and everything, guys. Okay, if you want to learn more about manage manage partitions and file system. So if you want to know more about this one, okay, so the course name, let me tell you, that is mastery in corporate linux, okay, from scratch to advanced level. Search with my name, you'll be getting that one. So here nothing but the disk, I'm not going to change anything, okay, so it's going to be 8 GB is enough, okay, because we are not going to keep up so many files over here, okay, there are no so many developers. So at this particular point of time, you only need to become a developer, or you only need to become a DevOps engineer, guys. Okay. Now the next point, what you need to do is you need to do the add tag. So you can do this one later on also, add tag. The naming you need to give it over here. Okay. And the next thing is configure security group. Just try to understand this is very carefully, guys. Security group is nothing but like how you have to restrict someone, right? It's like your firewall. If you are restricting one person, like in nowadays there is a lockdown situation, right? So you are restricting someone to go from one state to other state, right? There are some set of policies, there are some set of rules. What all those things are there? Those are the protocols. Okay. So SSH is the protocol. By using this SSH only, you are able to log into the that particular server by using your remote login client application, that is your Putty. But here what I'm going to do, because since we are outside, we are not we are not an organization, right? I'm not a private organization, so I have not created a private organization inside that one. Okay, so as of now I'm going to connect to these servers via public IP. So I am going to allow all the traffic over here. So just allow all the traffic here as of now, and in this side also you can allow everything. Okay. So you can review and you can launch. So you are able to see this is your T2 micro. The storage instance is EBS elastic block storage. You have CPU 1, memory equal to 1 GB. That is enough. Just launch the instance. Now here you need to understand very carefully. As I said, what you need to do is you need to generate the p.pem. By default, it's going to generate the pem file. Okay, so how we are going to generate the pem file? Because this there is no existing key pair available, so we are going to create a new key pair over here and see the region. What is that region? Region is your London, right, guys? London is the region. That's it. Now, first you need to download this key pair. So the key pair is already download over here. Okay, just take this key pair. So I am going to cut. Okay, and you need to store in some location. Okay, so I must show you how we can store it in some location. Okay, so you can take it. You can go to the dashboard. So I have already created a folder called keygen. Okay, so you are able to see key pair. So I'm going to save it over here. So now this key pair is what? This key pair is called london.pem format. Okay, but this key pair is not, we are not going to use this pem format to connect to this instance. Let me launch the instance. In the meanwhile, we'll do the work of that key pair, guys. Okay, so what we need to do next is you have already downloaded the key pair. Okay, you just need to launch the instance. So in the meantime, when the instance is launched, let's go to that key pairs folder. Okay, what you need to do over here, this is the keypair.pem format. This is only applicable for the Windows servers. So we have launched a Linux operating system just now. If you go here, if you go to view instances, you'll come to know the still it's in running. So the tag thing which I was talking about. So here you can mention Git. That's it. The naming you have done, correct? So Git server. So to connect to this Git server, we need a ppk format file. We need a ppk format key. But what we have generated now, we have generated the .pem. It is only applicable for Windows servers. Okay, so how we can convert this pem into ppk, that I'll show you. So what you need to do is you need to download the Putty generator from the internet. You can download it. Okay, it's very simple. Putty generator. Okay, so Putty gen will be like this. You can download it. You can go to this putty.org, you know, right? Putty, let me show you this also if you don't know. Okay, so here you can click here. Okay, so here you are able to see something. Here what you are able to see, you are able to see something called Putty gen, right? This one is the Putty gen. So 64-bit, most of the operating system will be 64-bit only. Just click on this, it will be downloaded like this, guys. Okay, just run this one. Okay, here you need to click on conversion and you need to click on import. Just click, what is that? Just now we have downloaded .pem. Okay, do open. You have opened. Now save this one as a private key. Either you can select this SSH or you can go with RSA also. Okay, both the options. Okay, so just click on this one, it will ask you for yes. Yes, we are going to. And let me tell you one more thing. So I am going to save this file. It's a passwordless authentication. I have not provided any password, so you can provide the password also. This is a passwordless authentication, and I am going to give the name of this one is London. Okay, just remove this one, just mention ppk. It will automatically save in ppk, but to make more convenience, just save it like this. Just save it. Done. Now if you go to this location, okay, keep here, there is something called ppk is saved, right? London. So this key will be using to log into your instance which we just now created. Now go to this here. Now you can see clearly the instance is up and running. How I come to know this instance is up and running? 2 by 2 check. This is also one interview question asked in AWS administration. What does that mean by 2 by 2? Means your system is up and running or your instance is ready. You can use it now. Now to connect to this server, there will be a public IP and there will be a private IP. So obviously, because we are in public environment, so we need to connect to this server by using this public IP, and this ultimately, this public IP is mapped to this private IP, guys. We cannot use this private IP. You can understand as per the security reason. But if you are in a private organization, for example, if I am telling, if you are working for XYZ organization, so you need to connect via VPN, right? Then you are able to use the network, that intranet of that particular organization, right? So here we are not I'm not an organization, right? So I can show you only with the public IP over here. Okay, so same way you just click on this IP, take this IP. So instead of Putty, now we are going to use MOBA extern. MOBA extern is also a remote login client application. So you can use Putty or you can use MOBA extern. So you can go to Google and you can download the MOBA extern also directly. If you can type it like this, MOBA extern. Okay, so you will get the MOBA extern. If you click on this one, download, so you can download the pro home edition version from here directly. Download it and you can use this one. So it will look like how? So it will look like you can see MOBA extern over here. This is some previous version I'm using. Just click on this one, run. Same like it is a remote login client application. What you need to do, you need to click on session. Okay, so if you click on session, SSH, via SSH protocol only we can log into that server. Okay, so just put the IP and you specify the username. So you know what operating system, the requirement I have shown you, Ubuntu. Okay, so for Ubuntu the username will be Ubuntu only, guys. Okay, so here the default name you need to provide Ubuntu. Okay, correct. Now click on advanced setting, click on use private key, which we just now converted PEM into ppk format. So which one we are going to choose, guys? That is london.ppk over here. Just click on this one, click on OK. Done. You are logged into the server. Super awesome. Okay, see, you have logged into the server. Let me increase the font. So guys, let me tell you one more thing. The person who is really worked in the production environment can only tell you these things. Okay, so this is why I'm just coming directly to the point. What exactly going on in your particular as a DevOps engineer, how to log in, how to install, and all those things. Okay, so just clear it out. This is a Linux operating system, so clear is the command to clear all the things. So those people who don't know Linux operating system, so I must tell you very clearly and honestly, because see, Linux is like your foundation. If you have to build a house, you need a foundation first, right? And then only on top of that, you are going to build that house. So if you really wants to build a house strong, then your foundation should be strong. So Linux operating system is like that only. So everybody, I'll urge you, Linux is, you must learn Linux, guys. So all other technologies are revolving around Linux. So what you need to do is, you if it's okay, guys, it's not, anyways I'm going to explain you what all commands I'm explaining over here. But if you really wants to learn Linux, because it's going to help you out through your entire career, I'm telling you honestly. Okay, and then you can go and check my course, master in corporate Linux from and with real-time troubleshooting. The course is called Mastery in Corporate Linux with real-time troubleshooting, because I started my career with a Linux system administrator. Then I moved from that technology to very different technology. Now I am working as a DevOps engineer, guy. Okay, so this is why I am suggesting you to do so. Okay, now here you are able to see this is the private IP 172.31.30.111, right? So you are able to see something over here. You are able to see this the private IP, and this IP is mapped with this public IP. So this is why we need those keys to log into this one, guys. Now coming back to here, you need to do sudo hyphen root. Okay, so you can use sudo hyphen, okay, sudo hyphen I. Just try to understand why I'm using this one, guys. So if you do who am I, so this is a command in Linux operating system. It is going to show you who are you, the user. So you logged in as a normal user. Okay, so before to this one, again let me show you. I have exited from this one. Again, if I execute who am I, it's going to show me the Ubuntu user. So Ubuntu is a normal user like you, me. A normal user don't have the privilege. They have a restriction. The permission is not like a super administrator. So if you know, CEO of CEO of a company can do anything, right? But a normal employee has the restriction. So this is why if you want to install something, some of the packages, then you need to switch it to the super user, that is super administrator. So root is what that call your super user and super administrator, and it has all the privilege. He can do anything. So if you want to do any modification, deletion, okay, or installation, anything, so you need to do it with the root user. A normal user cannot do that one until unless the privileges is providing to this Ubuntu, guys. Okay, so this is why I'm using sudo hyphen I over here, guys. Are you able to understand or not? So now if you do who am I, so you are able to see something called root, correct? So now the first thing is what you need to do is you need to go to the topmost of this Linux hierarchy, the file system, the architecture, where you need to do a forward slash. So it will take you to the topmost level of the Linux architecture, that is change directory, guys. So here all the directories are listed below this directory only, that is your forward slash, that is your root directory. If you go there and if you run ls, nothing is, it's a Linux command to list out all the files and directory which is below or which is under this forward slash, that is your root directory. So it will list out all the names of the directory and files which is under this one, guys. Okay, and if you do ll, so long listing, you are, if you want to, there only it was showing you with the name, right? But here it's showing you with the all the details, right? So it's showing you with the permission, with the who is the owner, who is the group owner, what is the size of the file, and when it's got created, this directory, guys. So if you, this is why I'm telling you these things are very much important. If you want to learn more into this one, these files and all, useful, it is very much useful. So you must learn Linux. Okay, so fine, guys. So coming back to here, okay, so you are able to see these many directories. So what next you need to do? So you remember that the next step for these developers, we need to create a directory, right? We need to create a workspace. So that workspace, until unless if you don't install this git, you won't be able to create that workspace, right, guys? So where you are going to install the git, so there should be some folder, there should be some directory which is relevant to your project, which is relevant to your application, right? Correct. So that is what we are going to do over here is we are going to run the command called mkdir. Okay, which is used for creating a directory. This is a Linux command. If you want to create a directory, you can use mkdir with the folder name paytm. This is the name of that application. Enter. Done. Now do ls. So are you able to see Paytm over here? Yes, you are able to see Paytm, right? This is the folder. Now to get inside to this directory, what you need to do, change directory, go inside to this Paytm folder. If you do ls, nothing is there, right? Obviously nothing will be there. So first you need to install the git over here. So I said if the next requirement will be you need to install the git. But before installing the git, what you need to do is you need to update the operating system. So you need to update. See, this is all about your operating system. This okay. So why we are updating the operating system? Maybe chances some of the packages will be old. Okay, and you, so you need to fetch all the packages okay, the latest and updated packages from a centralized Ubuntu server will be there. That is beyond things I am explaining you. It is more deeper. So from there only it will fetch all the latest package to this particular instance, to this particular operating system, Ubuntu operating system, guys. Okay, so if you want to update all the packages, because those packages has some dependencies, if you don't update, chances will be there your git doesn't work properly or functioning won't be there properly. Okay, so how we can update in git, okay, or sorry, how we can update in ubuntu operating system. So to update a repo, to update the linux operating system or to update the ubuntu, especially I'm talking about the ubuntu, and this is applicable for ubuntu and your debian operating system, guys. Okay, so apt get is the command. Apt get is the command you need to use to update or to install or to uninstall also. So there are multiple commands in linux operating system. If you are going with the red hat linux, then you need to use yum instead of apt-get. This is the package management command. Okay, if you want to install any package, if you want to uninstall, and if you even if you want to delete some packages, then you need to use this particular command apt-get for the ubuntu and debian. Okay, apt-get update and then -y, guys, enter. Now see, your operating system is up to date. It is done. Now next thing what you need to do, as I said very clearly, next thing is that you need to install the git, and the version will be 2.7.4, guys. Okay, so how to install a git? Okay, to install a git, same command I said, apt get install. Okay, and then you need to give git. See, now -y, there also I have used -y, you remember? Okay, why I'm using -y? Because when you install with without -y, so it is going to ask you whether you want to, it is the message will be prompt whether you want to install or not, yes or no. So if you given a -y, so it's not going to prompt you, it's directly going to install that git package. Okay, enter. So your git is installed, guys. How I come to know my git is installed or not? So every command in git is going to start with git only. Okay, so git hyphen version, as soon as you do, you are able to see something over here. This is called git 2.7.4, guys. Means your git is installed, correct? But you are not able to use this git. If you do ls over here, are you able to see anything? No. There is a reason behind that one. Your git is not at all initialized. Initialize means what? Suppose if you have installed something, or if even if you installed a vlc media player or any application, you need to start that application, right, guys? Correct? Correct. So here you need to start that application. Like if you are going to start a car, okay, if you're going to use a car, so you have to put a key and you need to ignite first, right? Ignition should be there, then only the engine will start, correct? It's not going to tell you engine start, right? It's not like that. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to very care, you need to initialize the git, same like other services. So any of the services, whether it's a ssh service or whether it's a httpd service, or even if you want to use your tomcat server, okay, how you are going to use the tomcat server? You need to start the tomcat server, right? Correct, guys? So same way here also, you need to start this git to use the git. So how we can initialize the git init is the command. This is also one interview question which is they are going to ask you how to initialize the git in most of the DevOps interviews. Okay, so you just need to do git init. The git is, you can see clearly, initialize the empty git. So if you do now ls, you are able to see something? No, you need to do ll over here, long listing. So are you able to see? This is your git repository, guys. So guys, this is all about the installation of git on your AWS EC2 instance. Okay, and this is how we initialize our git. Now in the next session we'll see how we can move, or how we can operate, how we can execute the basic CLI command of your git. Okay, and again I am telling you, you have to keep, I have explained you this diagram, so put this diagram in your head. Okay, then only you'll be able to navigate within git repository, that is your local repository which we have just now installed, guys. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, and if you have any doubt, any queries, please write it back to me. I'll try to answer as soon as possible.